Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to take this opportunity to inform the House of the passing of David Ronald Hamilton McIntyre of Halloween Scone on the 30th of August 2015 after a long illness. Many in the community of Upper Hunter and in the agriculture industry mourned the passing of David McIntyre. David served on the committee of the Upper Hunter Amateur Picnic Races. He was also a life member of the Scone Race Club and long-time race day judge. He was also on the Shortland County Council and the Pastures Protection Board, to name a few. He was a councillor on the old Scone Shire for many years and then Shire President for 9 years. During this time he was instrumental in many infrastructure projects. For example, the development of the suburb of Sater in Scone and the advanced sewerage system in Aberdeen. He also was responsible for the replacement of many of the numerous timber bridges throughout the Shire. He also served on the State Advisory Board for the CSIRO, a pursuit he was particularly interested in. David was among early pioneers of artificial insemination as, after studying dairy cattle bloodlines extensively, he visited England to obtain the very best. A steward for many years at the Royal Agricultural Society from 1977, first served on the RAS as a councillor and then as Vice President until 2005. He was very committed to the RAS and served on both the Horse and Agriculture committees. He is one of 3 life directors of the New South Wales Polo Association, and he played polo from his early 20s and gained much enjoyment from the game. The son of Captain David Hamilton McIntyre of Cayuga, Muswellbrook, and Di, nee Moore of England, David attended Cayuga Public School, Tudor House and the King's School, graduating in 1942. His great-grandfather, Donald McIntyre, founded both the Muswellbrook and Scone polo clubs in 1890 and 1891 respectively, with the recently run tournament, the Donald McIntyre Cup, presented by his daughter Nicola O'Driscoll. He took up golf in his 50s and had many years of enjoyment from the game of golf. David also reinstituted the Cayuga Cup, which is held at the Muswellbrook Golf Club, that his great-grandfather started many years before. David had a reputation as a very astute and capable cattleman, insisting during his lifetime that cattle be worked on horseback, and in his earlier days perfecting the art of haymaking. He had a deep connection with the Upper Hunter, not only for agricultural enterprise. Further, he had an abiding love for the landscape. He also relished tradition and celebrating the family's Celtic heritage, founding the Upper Hunter Pipes and Drums, which wore the McIntyre tartan. He was the first chieftain of the day of the Aberdeen Highland Games, held on the first Saturday of July in each year. And as a true gentleman, he observed and appreciated the niceties. Although he held firm positions on local, regional and national issues, David was usually more eager to listen than talk, with a knack of putting people at ease. I just add there that David was a long-time supporter of the National Party, and as his son, who was up until recently my electorate council chair, and their interest in good policy and government across all levels has been well known throughout our area for a long time. He was an accomplished pilot and he would fly as often as he could. He flew up to the northern Queensland numerous times and around Australia in 1988. In a moving tribute at David's memorial service at St Luke's Anglican Church in Scone, his grandson Hector McIntyre of Invermere, Scone, said, "Play hard," was the maxim he was imbued with as a result of his grandfather. And I quote from Hector, my granddad was an extremely generous and loving person, especially to his family. He was very fond of his grandchildren and was extremely proud of us all. He took great interest in our efforts in and out of school. He would always throw a joke in that would brighten your day," unquote. David McIntyre was survived by his wife Susie, his children Hamish and wife Philippa, Duncan and his wife Jill, and Nicola and husband Tony O'Driscoll, as well as Wally and Toby Scales, sons by affection, and grandchildren David, Peter, Angus, Richard and Georgina, Hector and Florence, Lucy and Sophia Scales, and Lachlan and Harriet Scales. Vale David McIntyre.